So, would somebody like to tell me their answer to number 1? You needn't tell me all of your work. You just need to tell me your final answer. If it's wrong, I will say, can anybody see a mistake? And somebody else will say, well, maybe. And then we will explain it and discuss it. Okay? Will anybody like to volunteer their first answer? Nick, please do. Because, Nick, you've done everything. Go. X plus 1 and 2x plus 2? I think you mean 5x plus 2.
Oh, yeah, I said it wrong.
Yes, I thought so. That is absolutely correct. How do I know it's correct just by looking at it? Because I checked x times 5x, that gets me 5x squared. And then I check 1 times 2, and that gets me 2. If my ends are right, my middle's right. Automatically. So is there any excuse to ever hand one of these in wrong? No, because you check at the end. It takes literally 1 second. And if it's wrong, what should you do? Go back and look at it again. Right? Now, some of you are probably looking at it and saying, wow, man, how do you get that? I still don't get this. That's okay, because that's what today is for. Everybody understand? Oops. So, the next thing I want to talk about is it all right if I write this way? Is that okay? Yes. Right? Because they both have the same sign, so it doesn't matter what order I put the polynomials in. Okay? I only am making a big deal out of this because sometimes when I get you guys to mark your own work, you will mark your work wrong because you wrote it like it's written in red and I wrote it like it's written in blue. You don't recognize that they're the exact same thing. Everybody cool? Going once, going twice, going thrice. Excellent. Would anybody like to do number 2 for me? You want to go for 2, Nick? Hit me. Oh, you're killing me, Smalls. It's a great movie. It's one of my favorites. Some guys in grade 11 are giving me a hard time when I said this. Like, what are you talking about, Mr. They always give me a hard time. Yeah, right? I like the band Arkells. Some of you don't know who that is, but some of you should know who the band Arkells are. They're a great Canadian band. Good rock music. I like them. They're solid. They make so much fun of me because I went to see their concert. Their concert had 10,000 people at it. They're a big band, but they made fun of me. I know, weird, hey? They also make fun of me for saying words like Cucamonga. Cucamonga. It's a place. What, Riley?
Where would this 7 go in number 1?
Okay, the 7 goes nowhere. It shows up when I expand this out. So when I do 5 times x, 5x times x, I get 5x squared, yes? This is good because this is the other part of your test tomorrow. It's the part that everyone forgets about. Then that 5x has to multiply by 1, yeah? And 5x times 1 is 5x, yes? Then that 2 has to multiply by x. What's 2 times x? 2x. And then that 2 has to multiply by 1 to get 2. There's 5x's there and 2x's there. There's the 7x. Okay? Cool? All right. So, Nick, back to you, my man. What's the scoop on number 2? 2x plus 3. Keep reading, brother. Sorry?
I'm not sure if it's 2x plus 4
No.
or 1x plus 2.
X plus 2. And then you check at the end. Does 2x... Anyway, my computer's frozen, so I can't get my fun highlighters out. It crossed out 2x because it's a piece of garbage. 2x times x. Is that 2x squared? Yeah, sure, you betcha. 3 times 2. Is that 6? Yeah, sure, you betcha. If the ends are right, is the middle right? Yes. Good job, Nick. You're on fire.
Go 3 for 3. Go 3 for 3.
Dare we go 3 for 3? Well, that was really 1.5 for 2 because he was like, I don't know which it is.
Whatever, go 2.5.
Bring it home, Nick. Finish the row. 3x minus 1 and ooh 2x plus 1. Would that work? No. Nick, I applaud your confidence. Thank you. But you need to double check this one, yeah? Brianna, what is it? I'm sorry? Negative 6 plus 3. So 2x. Oh, 2x minus 6 and 3x plus 3. Is that okay? Is 2x times 3x 6x squared? Yeah, sure, you betcha. Is 6 times 3 negative 3? 6 times 3 is negative 3. No. So guys, Brianna, are you right? No. I know where you're getting the 18 from because you're doing some of the steps, but you're not doing all of the steps. What's next? Jake, hit me. X minus 3, 6x plus 1. Let's check. Is x times 6x 6x squared? Yeah, sure, you betcha. Is negative 3 times positive 1 negative 3? Yeah, sure, you betcha. Is Jake right? Yeah, sure, you betcha. Now, where are you getting that 18 from, Brianna? You're right. You need to do 6 times 3. You have to multiply to negative 18. You have to add to 17. What are the factors of 18 that will get to 17? Is it 1 and 18? Yeah. Yes, because if I have 18 minus 1, will I get 17? Yes. So it is x minus 1, but it's not really minus 1 because I multiplied everything by 6. And x plus 18. But it's not really 18. It's over 6. And what do I do with all those fractions anytime I can? Simplify. Once they can't simplify, denominator to the front. 6x minus 1, x plus 3. Okay? Okay. Number 4. Who's going? There's people wandering our halls. Slowly. They's moseying. I think they appear to be builder dudes. I think they're builder dudes. All right, number 4. Who's got an answer for me? Gonna try to bring us back, Nick? Oh, Brianna, you're going to try and... Wait, Brianna. Isha has put her hand up, and that's a rare occasion. And you just did one. Isha, hit us. 3n minus 4. N minus 2. Oh, Isha uses so close.
Is it plus 2?
It's 3n plus 4.
It's 3n plus 4?
14.
Is it 3n plus 4? What is it, TJ? Plus 2. But Isha, you'd catch it if you checked it, right? You would have gone 3n and n, 3n squared, no problem. And then you would have done negative 4 and negative 2 would get you positive 8. Oh, you needed negative 8, right? Now, guys, one sec, Aiden. Keep the thought in your head. Guys, let's say you did this question for me. You did exactly what Isha did. You had all the right answers, or all the right numbers, all the right letters, in all the right places, but you screwed up the plus and the minus. Questions out of 2. What do I give you?
1.5.
3.
1.5?
3.
You figure you should get 75% a B?
What was it out of?
Yeah.
Well, if it's out of 2, 1.5 would be a B, right? 75%.
I think I should get 8.
You should get a B.
Yeah.
1.75.
Yeah, you know what?
How can you prove to yourself that you have factored it right? You check at the end. That check takes 1 second, yes? If you are telling me you're not going to make that 1 second check, what does that tell me that you care about 25% of your marks? You don't. I would give you 1. Okay? Picking up what I'm putting down?
Yeah.
Read my mail, mow my lawn? Mowing my mail and reading my lawn? I don't think that would work very well. Okay, so who would like to do 4 or 5? Not 45, 5.
45, the answer is 0. Oh, wow, Sam.
Riley, hit me.
2x plus 1.
I got a rebuttal.
And?
6x plus 1.
Let's check. Is 2x times 6x 12x squared?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure, you betcha. Is 1 times 1 positive 1?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure, you betcha. What happens there?
It's a negative and a negative.
So, the only mistake Riley made, he needed to check that they both had to be negative, didn't he? Because he needed negative 8x's. This would have gotten him positive 8x's. But, Riley, you are not going to feel down about that, are you?
Yeah. No. Wait, what?
Riley, you still feel good about this, right?
No.
You're killing me, Smalls.
That's not funny.
Okay, all right? What is different about 6?
It's backwards. Well, that's
It's backwards. Does that hurt us in any way?
no, because both the signs are the same.
It's negative 2y minus 3.
Could I write it as this? Yeah? Could I write it that way?
You made it a plus, little guy. That's the minus.
It is positive 15, big guy.
Oh.
Could I write it that way?
Yes.
Yeah. Now, what is different about 6 written this way that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 do not share?
The variable begins.
The very first coefficient is negative, yes? Right? We know how to do it when the very first one is positive, but what do we do when it's negative?
The exact same thing.
Kinda.
Divided by negative 1.
I divide it all by negative 1.
Are you serious?
Because negative 1 goes into everything, doesn't it?
Yes.
So I get negative. What happens to that?
It cancels out.
Becomes positive. What happens to that?
Positive.
Becomes positive. What happens to that?
Negative.
Now, can I factor that? What do I got to multiply to?
15, negative 15.
No.
Negative 30.
Negative 30.
I gotta keep up.
And what do I got to add to?
Positive 7.
7. What is it? Which one's positive? Which one's negative? 3 is the negative. So it's y minus 3 over 2 and y plus 10 over 2. What do I do to those fractions? Negative out front, 2y minus 3 and y plus 5. Simplify. Tricky question, but this is a very useful mathematical tool. You're a math tool. Get it? No, I didn't. That was you guys talking to me.
Wait, why do we call you a tool? Wait, what? Why do we call you a math tool? Usually when you not all the people everywhere.
All right. What if... Yes, Nick? Pardon me? Okay. If... Yunji?
For number 4, I was just keep looking at it. I got 3n plus 4 and n negative 2.
No, because plus 4 minus 2 would not give you negative 2 in the middle. That would give you positive 2 in the middle. No, it wouldn't. It wouldn't. You were right. Plus 4 minus 2. Negative 6 plus 4. Yeah. Nice job, Yunji. All right. Yeah.
K minus 1.
Okay.
15K plus 10.
Oh, another shot at it.
Bro.
Oh, baby, triple kill. What?
Stop. Do you have more to say, Riley? Okay. Stop. Is Riley right? Is k times 15k 15k squared?
Yes.
Yes. Is negative 1 times 10 negative 10? Yes. Is negative 15k plus 10k
No.
5k?
Yes. Negative 15K plus 10K.
It is. No, it's negative 5K.
Okay, so just chill. Just chill. So, Riley, what if I change it to this? Then I get 15k squared minus 10 plus 15 minus 10. You cool?
Yeah, I had it before, but I thought it was wrong.
Okay, now, stop for a second. This is the perfect example of what math teachers... No, not what we hate.
Don't enjoy.
Okay. We don't like it from a marking perspective. Because here's what's happened here. Riley has factored this, and he has done an admirable job of it. I realize you would have caught your mistake in the check. I know you would have. I have faith in that. So I am now at an interesting situation because Riley has done the work correctly, but he has not finished the work. And here is what I mean by that. Riley has gotten stuck in what we've been doing, and he has forgotten something from the very beginning of the year. What if that wasn't there? Can you do something with that?
Yes. Divided by 5.
Could I take a 5 out of there? So if it was just that, you would continue to factor, right? Like you'd take the 5 out, yeah? So what I'm saying is you got to check at the, what was it? This was the plus 1, yeah? You got to check at the end in case there's any more you could do. So all you would need to do to finish this off was remember something from the very beginning, which is you can get a 5 out of there. So we're going to move a 5 out to the front, k plus 1. What's 15k divided by 5? 3k. 10 divided by 5 is 2. Cool? Now, what I'm getting at here is could Riley have done that at the very beginning?
That's what I did.
Right? Because 15, 5, and 10 all divide by 5. Do I care when you do that?
No!
Jack, I appreciate your enthusiasm for math class. I do. It's a rare thing amongst teenagers. But we are still in a place of business, yes? And there is only room in this room for one loudmouth. Me. Okay? So, Riley, cool? Right? Like, I don't get me wrong. I'm super happy you did it right. You just got to finish. Okay? All right. What's different about 8? Because you're now my second block of this, and tons of kids are asking me questions about 8. What do you think they're asking me?
There's 2 twos.
What do I do with the y's? All right. Let's pretend those y's aren't there. Could you factor that for me? I would need to multiply to what? 4 and add to what? -5. So what would it be? X minus 4, but not really minus 4, because it's 4 over 2, and x minus 1, but it's not really minus 1, it's over 2. That would simplify to x minus 2, and that would simplify to 2x minus 1, correct? Then I would check. What is x times 2x?
2x squared.
2x squared. Huzzah! Absolutely correct. X times 2x is 2x squared. Yeah? Excellent. What is -2 times -1? Positive 2. Excellent. So are we right?
Yeah, but
Except
Y's in there. Oh, no.
there were y's. Now, what down here got me my x squared? X times x. So what gets me y squared? Y times y. And there's your answer. Okay?
Is this cartwheel happy? Or just like,
It's the other one. It's the one we have to
So, in this one, since I have 2 variables, my answer must have 2 variables, yes?
oh yeah.
If there was no m's, it would be n plus something, right? But there's an m, so it must be n plus m and n plus m. So if I do this, what do I need to multiply to? -30. And what do I need to add to? What is it? -10 plus 3, right? So n minus 10, but it's not really minus 10, divided by 2, and it needs an m. I'm going to write it out here so I have space to simplify. Then it's going to be n plus 3, but it's not really plus 3, divided by 2, and I need, what do I need out here? An m, so I can make my m squared. What do I do with that fraction? Simplify to 5. Does that simplify? No. So the denominator just comes to the front. N minus 5m, 2n plus 3m. And then I check. Is n and 2n 2n squared? Yes. Is -5 and positive 3 -15? Is m and m squared? I find that actually to be very interesting. Right now, the biggest song in America is the duet between Beyonce, or featuring Beyonce and Eminem. 700 million downloads in an hour. 700 million. Eminem was famous 17 years ago.
He still is, and there's a new album coming out.
Beyonce was in Destiny's Child in the 90s.
Old things are good.
You guys weren't even born when both of those two artists were famous.
It's called a balanced division.
Lil Pump's the best. We should listen to some of his music.
Uh-huh. Maybe we get some Soulja Boy going too. He had a lot of intelligent things to say. Crank that Soulja Boy! Crank that Soulja Boy! Crank that Soulja Boy! What a poet!
Lil Pump talks about Pop and Zannies.
Yes, he is. And you know what's going to happen in 40 years from now? Because we're about the same age. I'm going to be living on a beach in Ecuador, sipping Mai Tais and surfing every day. And he's going to be popping Xannies in some homeless shelter because he doesn't know how to deal with his money. Because that's what always happens to those clowns. That's why Cypress Hill has that song, Rock and Rap Superstar. Durr.
Who's going to end up popping his name?
Cypress Hill.
Yes.
Who's roughly your age, stars?
What?
Are we talking about that same person that's roughly your age?
Soulja Boy.
Oh. Let's be honest, he's probably dead by now.
With any luck. Then we won't be subjected to his music anymore. All right. What's 10?
That is
2x
minus 3.
minus 3.
3x minus 2.
Done. Absolutely correct. Now, what should you do at the beginning of number 11? Why should you simplify?
GCF, sorry.
Yeah, why should you GCF?
Make it easier for you.
Because you can. What comes out of there? 6. Now I need numbers that multiply to what? 10. And add to what? What are they? 1 and 10. S plus 10 over 2 and S plus 1 over 2. Simplify. S plus 5. 2S plus 1. Yeah? Yeah. 12's back to the normal easy ones. Multiply to what? Negative 90. Add to what? Negative 1. What is it?
Is it 9x minus 10 and plus 1?
It's 9 and 10, right? But I need negative 1. So is it minus 10 or minus 9? Minus 10. So it's plus 9 over 9 minus 10 over 9. Simplify. Done. What's weird about 13?
It's not right.
There's a key.
You have to divide them by
There's
x.
too many x's, right? Is there an x there? Is there an x there? Is there an x there?
Yes.
So is there a GCF?
Yes.
What is it? X. So what comes out?
X.
X. What stays in?
4x squared.
4x squared minus
7x.
7x minus 2. Now, how many of you are going to forget that x on tomorrow's test?
There's a test?
A lot of yous.
What?
Yes. What do I do in there? What do I got to multiply to?
8.
Negative 8. What do I got to add to? What is it? What? 1. But it's not really 1. It's 1/4 and x minus 8, but it's not really 8. It's over 4. And what do I do with those fractions? Simplify if you can. Now, a bunch of you tomorrow are going to forget this x. You're going to remember it at the very beginning, then you're never going to write it again.
Yeah.
Can I give you full marks?
No.
No, I can't.
If you remember the X, is that cartwheel happy? Cartwheel's
There has to be a lot.
Okay, 14. What's weird about 14 that causes you guys trouble that shouldn't cause you trouble?
There's 2.
The extra e. But it shouldn't cause you any trouble, should it? Because you can just do it normally and then throw that e in when?
At the end.
At the very end. So I got to multiply to what?
40.
40. Add to what? 22. What is it?
20 and 2.
20 and 2. D plus 20. But it's not plus 20.
20.
Over 8. And D plus 2. But it's not plus 2. Over 8. What do I do with those fractions?
Simplify.
5 over 2 and 1 over 4. 2D plus 5. 4D plus 1. Yep. No, 5 over 2. Now, what do I got to add at the end? E. Now, would we ever write this 1? No. Would I take marks away from you if you wrote it there to help yourself? No. Of course not. And finally, fitting. There's that B there. Do we worry about him? No, we just put him in at the end. What do I got to multiply to? Negative 36. What do I got to add to? Negative 9. Is it 1 and 36? No. 2 and 18? No. 3 and 12? Yeah, 12 and 3 will make 9. How do I make it negative 9? Positive 3 minus 12. So it's A minus 12, but it's not really 12. Over 4. And A plus 3, but it's not really 3. Simplify, what do you get? A minus 3, but it's not really 3. What do I need at the end?
3B.
I need that B. Does that simplify? So where does the 4 go? And I'm done. Can everybody factor? Riley first. 1 sec, Riley. I can't hear you, and I know you're speaking loudly. It's because everybody else won't shut up. Because they're all going to get 100% on the test. They don't need to ask anything, right? So when I mark everyone's test tomorrow, because you all are talking right now, I'm going to get 40 out of 40 for everybody, right? Thank you.
On number 14,
Yes.
you would do 8 times 5 equals 40, right? And then
Yep.
I was,
Then what?
I was just making sure because I was confused with where the 40 came from.
Yep. It's the first one times the last one. Anybody else? All right, let's look at those crazy extra ones I gave you. Because there was a little trick with each one of them. What's the trick with the first one? There is a little bit of a trick because it's negative, negative. I got to multiply to get a negative, and then I got to add to get a negative. That bothers you guys because you have trouble with your negative numbers. So what is it? I got to multiply to negative 84 and add to negative 5. So it's going to be 7 and 12, yes? What's the only way to make a negative? One of these, the bigger number has to get the negative, right? What's bigger? So it has to have the negative to end up with the negative, right? So number 1 must be x plus 7, because the 7's positive, and x minus 12. Right? It's not a trick. It's just something that you guys mess up a little because you sometimes mess up your negatives and your positives. Okay? Everybody cool? All right. Now, number 2, I was very mean to you because I wrote it out and I walked around and I watched you guys struggle with number 2. Struggle with it. Why? It doesn't factor. But I watched you all try to make it factor, even after you wrote out your list. So almost everybody said, oh, okay, I got to multiply to negative 60 and add to negative 3. Okay. And you couldn't think of it right away, because usually you can see it right away, right? You guys are getting good at this. Believe it or not, you are. So you said to yourself, I don't see that one right away. So I'm going to do what Myers says. Will 1 and 60 get me to 3? No. 2 and 30? No. 3 and 20? No. 4 and 15? No. 5 and 12? No. And then you kept trying to make it work, even though none of those pairs will do this for you, will it? And I watch you guys sit on this question forever. Does that make any kind of sense? That tells me that you're learning steps. You're not learning what you're doing. Do you understand the difference? Right? You and I could take you to my karate dojo and I could teach you the steps to do a 108 movement thing. It takes 15 minutes to do. If I showed you that once until you had it memorized, is that the same as me who's taken 7 years to learn it? No. Should you have the black belt? If I can show you how to parallel park once, are you ready to go get your license? No, you're not. Picking up what I'm putting down? So the answer to this was it doesn't factor. Know when you're done. That is the point I'm trying to make. Know when you're finished. All right, let's look at 3. What's weird about 3? I don't like that x minus 4.
A squared.
But what if I did this? Is that a perfect square? Is that subtraction? Is that a perfect square?
Oh, shoot.
So, can I take the square root of that? What is it? 2a. And then add the square root of that?
5.
And then what do I do? Now, are there any a's in the question?
No.
No. A is x minus 4. So what do I write there? 2x minus 4 plus 5. And then 2x minus 4 minus 5. Why am I doing this to you? Oh, because what do I need to do here? What's the first part of this unit? Multiply. So it's 2x minus 8 plus 5. What's that? 2x minus 3. And this is 2x minus 8 minus 5. What's that? 2x minus 13. That's your final answer. It is. But it's taking this original thing that we could do in our sleep, right? Does number 4 look like number 3? But what's different about it?
They're not square roots.
6 and 24 aren't square roots.
But you can divide both by 6.
But I can GCF, can't I? So if I divide these both by 6, I get 6 x minus 3 squared minus what?
4.
4. Is that a perfect square? It's squared. Is that subtraction? Is that a perfect square? So can I do my work there? What would make it easier to do my work there?
A squared.
if I wrote that as a, correct?
Yeah.
Then I have the 6, don't forget about them. And I have a plus what? 4?
2.
2. And then I have a minus 2, correct?
Yes.
What's a?
X minus
X minus 3. So what do I really have in the first bracket there?
S minus
6,
X plus
x minus 3 plus 2, which is what?
X minus
X minus 1. Because that, and I'll change color to make it easier to see, x minus 3 plus 2, right? And what do I really have in the second bracket?
X minus 5.
X minus 5. Why? Because what I really have there is x minus 3 minus 2. And that's your final answer. Everybody cool? Number 5. Number 5's not tricky at all, except that it goes past the 12 times table, right? Because I needed to multiply, I had 7x squared minus 19x minus 6, was it?
Yeah.
So I need to multiply to negative 42 and add to negative 19. And I've gone past the 12 times table, right? All you are good with 42. 1 and 42, 2 and 6 and 7. But the middle ones that aren't in that original times tables that you learned in grade 3 caused you guys some grief, yeah? What was it? 21 and 2. If that's negative, which one has to be the negative one here? The 21, because I need to end up with a negative, right? So it's x minus 21 over 7 and x plus 2 over 7. Simplify, x minus 3, 7x plus 2. Everybody cool? And number 6 is the about the hardest question I could give you in factoring. I could do one other thing, but I promise you I am not going to do it. This is about the hardest it could get. So what do I do?
Divided by 2.
First thing, you're going to divide by 2 because you see a GCF. So, 2, and that's going to become 2x plus 7 squared minus 7x plus 7 plus 6. Now what are you going to do to make your life easier?
Brackets dollar sign.
You're going to make them something other than that, right? Sam's being fun. He's making it a dollar sign. You could draw a peace sign. You could draw an A. You could draw a lizard. I don't care. It just can't be that. So if I make that A and I make that A, then I need to multiply to what?
Wait.
12 and add to what? Negative 7. What is it?
Negative 4, negative 2.
A minus 4, but it's not really 4. Over 2. And A minus 3, but it's not really 3. Simplify. What does that become? 2. Does that simplify? So I get 2, A minus 2, and 3A minus 2. But what's A really? X plus 7 minus 2. And I'll change colors there to remind you.
X plus 5.
So what's that?
X plus 5.
X plus 5. And what's this really? What's that A really? 3x plus 7 minus 2. What's 3x plus 7? 3x plus 21 minus 2. 3x plus 19.
Isn't it 2x not 3?
Oh yeah, it should have been a 2. And the 3, I reversed those. So 2x plus 14 minus 2, right? 2x plus 14 minus 2, which is 2x plus 12, yes? Am I done, Riley Van Dam? Why not? Smart enough to know I'm picking on you. Why? I divide which one?
It's minus 3.
Shh, let's just pretend. I want to do the point here.
Shouldn't it be all of them? Because, like, the two.
I got to tidy this up because I screwed up there.
Shouldn't it be all of them?
One sec. 2a minus 3, right? Right? That's what that should have been, yeah? That's what this should have been, right? And then it should have been 2, should be in red, 2x plus 7 minus 3, which is 2x plus 14 minus 3, which is, it should be 2x plus 11. And then we would be done. I wrote it down wrong. But the point I'm trying to make, Sam, was this, and Riley too. What if that was 12? We'd take out a 2, right? That's the only other thing I could do to you. I could get you to do all this factoring, get to here, and have these both be factorable and have to bring out another one. Okay? And that is it. That's the hardest thing I could do to you in factoring. Now, the problem with this unit is by this time, all of you forget the multiplying from the beginning, even though we did a quiz on it and there's a bunch of it in your notes, right? So the other class now, at this point in the day with half an hour left, this is when we started doing those surveys, so forget that. But they all said, all right, we feel good with factoring. But they were not feeling good with multiplying. How are you guys? Are you happy with your factoring? Or do you need to see some crazy ass factoring ones? I'm sorry, Nick. As soon as I stop talking, everybody starts talking, including the kid that's trying to ask a question. Go ahead. It's this. That's what I'm talking about. And the reason everybody is a little nervous about it is because they forget you already learned it in grade 9. Yes. So, Riley, you strike me as somebody that would like to talk a bit about multiplying. Multiplying polynomials. Okay. Excellent. So can you do x plus 7 times x minus 8?
Can you say that again? I had to write it down.
I'm not trying to pick on you, but this is what I'm talking about.
X squared.
I'm going to write it down so you can write it down.
X squared minus x minus 66. I got it right.
Now what I'm trying to say is in the 9th grade, you all learned this. Right? And you probably drew it out. Your teacher probably made you draw algebra tiles. And you were like, that sucks. And then your teacher, yeah, I did. And then your teacher showed you, but isn't it just 3x plus 6? Don't you just bring that into both? And you said, oh yeah, it is, no problem. Right? Now, look at this question. If that 7 wasn't there, what would you do with that x? It would go into both, yes? And I would get x squared plus 8x, yes? Now, the x isn't there, but negative 7's there. So what would you do with that? Negative 7x. Keep your x's together. 7 and 8 minus 56. Then add them up. What's x squared plus 0? X squared. 8 minus 7? X minus 56. That's why we're practicing. Do you see what I mean? Okay.
No, the 7 is the No, I don't find
Okay. So all you're doing, yes, Nick? Okay. All you're doing, no matter how many times we multiply, is this, right? No matter what. So if I were to give you this, x plus 3 times x squared minus 2xy plus 2y squared, what would you do? I would bring that x to what? Everything. And I would go step by step. What is x times x squared? What is x times negative 2xy? Negative 2 x squared y. What is x times 2y squared? 2xy squared. Yes? Now I'm done with the x. Now I got to do the same thing with 3. What's 3 times x squared? Are there any other x squareds here? No. So I'm going to write 3x squared over here on his all by himself. What's this? Negative 6xy. Any other just regular xy's? No. Then what am I going to do with the 3 and the y squared? 2 times 3 is 5? Plus 6y squared. And notice, nothing matches up. So am I done? Yes. It's ugly because there were no like terms. There's no like terms. Right? There's no other cubes. There is no other x squared y's. There's no other xy squareds. There's a single x squared. There's an xy, but neither of them are squared, and there's a y squared. Can't do anything with it. Right? That, for you guys, is the hardest one. Because you can't put anything together. And you see something that gigantic, and you want to put it together, don't you? Just like you spent 20 minutes trying to make that work. So the point I'm trying to make is know when you're done. I will never give you something you can't do. Ever. Everybody cool? Do you want to try one of these on your own? Okay, the hardest one I can give you is this. It would be, and I'm going to use weird letters, not X and Y, because when I use,
Can I change the X and Y?
if you need to.
Oh, he's making it go backwards. Oh,
Bruh.
you.
I have it.
Oh, you
You
do
can't roll up to 7. My idea is that the reduce.
That's the hardest expansion I can give you. But is it difficult? No. No, because you're going to start with one term and do what? You're going to run it through, right? So that p squared is going to hit that p squared to get what? P4. Then what's it going to hit? To get what? 5p. Then it's going to hit what? 8 to get what? Negative 8p squared. Am I done with p squared?
Yes. No, there's another one.
No, I'm done with that p squared. Right? Now, I'm going to... What's weird about the next term? It's negative. Does anything else change?
No.
It's got to hit there. What does that give me? Negative 4 p cubed, right? Because p times p squared. Well, I already have some p cubes here, don't I? So let's keep them together. What's the next one? minus 20 p squared. And I'm keeping my squareds together. What's the last one? Positive 32p. I got no other p's. Now, what's this guy? Does he do the same thing?
Yes.
Great. He hits that first. What is that? P squared. Do I have some p squareds?
Yes.
So should I keep them together?
Yes.
What's this one?
35.
35p. Do I have some p's?
Yes.
So should keep them together.
Oh, wait, there.
And what's the last one?
Negative 56.
Negative 56. I got no other numbers. Now what do I do with all of that?
Find like
Collect my like terms. Are there any other p4s? No. So it's p to the fourth. There's a couple of p squareds. Now here's where you guys are going to screw up. You all think that you can reliably add and subtract in your head. Even though if I say right now, what's negative 7 minus 9? What's the answer?
2.
No. Negative 16. See? Half of you cannot add and subtract in your head. So what should you be doing when you get to this point? Getting out your calculator. 5 minus 4. 1. 1 p cubed. We don't write the p. Negative 8. Oh, we don't write the 1. Negative 8 minus 20 is what? Negative 28. Now 7. I'm going back the other way. Negative 21p squared. 32 and 35? 67p. And hardest thing I can give you. Yep, I'm about to do that. All this is being recorded, so don't worry. Here's one for you to try. While you're writing out that one, I'm going to do another one over here that looks hard until you take a close look at it. Do the red one first. If you finish the red one, try the blue one. If you're not going to do neither, that's fine too, but no complaining if you do crappy on your test tomorrow. Are you guys ready to talk about the red one? No rush. Got 20 minutes left in class. We are in no rush. are we at a point where I could just start writing the answers without talking?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, did I get Oh, I wrote the one.
That's okay. That's okay.
I got it wrong.
Okay. Now, guys, listen to me. Listen to me, please. This blue question over here is actually less polynomial multiplying, but it's also a bit tricky. So, do you know what to do there?
Yes.
You'd expand that out, right? Now, we can use our shortcut there, can't we? So we know that it's x squared minus 2x minus 15, yes?
Yes.
So that's one thing. Now I have to subtract that squared. What do I do first? Subtraction or exponents? So I got to subtract this. Now, a great many of you are still going to tell me that this is x squared plus 16. Is it?
No.
No. It is x plus 4 times x plus 4, which is x and x squared, 4 and 4, 8x, 4 and 4, 16. Now here's where you're going to make your mistake. What does that negative do? James?
Switches all the symbols.
Switches all of these. So I have an x squared minus x squared. What happens to my x squareds? They're gone. Negative 2 minus 8. Negative 10x. Negative 15 minus 16. Negative 31. And it's done.
That was good. Oh, yeah, you want to keep.
Which one got you?
I had Abraham. Are you both different? Oh.
He's a bad teacher.
So, guys, listen to me. Listen to me, please. Now is the time for the last 10 minutes of class that you must, because I don't believe you're going to do it tonight. I do not believe you. I'm sorry. I am not calling you liars, really, but I am intimating it. I need you to look back through your notes. You need to find your weak points. Do you forget negatives? Do you forget to add exponents when you're multiplying? Do you forget a letter when there's a letter there? You've got to go back and look, because you guys, believe me, if you could even get most of the way through these questions and most of the way through that last page I gave you, you're all sitting at a B on your test tomorrow. You should all be getting a B, but the only person who knows if you're there is you. I don't. And here's why. You guys don't work independently. If I put a bunch of work out there, you work what you call together. But what's that really?
One person does all the work.
One person does it all while you talk with your buddies, and then you look it over real quick. Oh yeah, I get it. Is that getting it? No. Okay? I have watched people fix my car. Do I do my own brakes? No. Why not? It's just brakes, right? When in doubt, you can always drive into a telephone pole. It'll stop you.
Just be a better driver. It'll just teach you to be a better driver.
So, I don't want to start something new. I'm giving you a gift. You got 10 minutes now. As soon as I stop talking, a bunch of you are going to be quiet for about 30 seconds, and then you're going to start talking about junk that has nothing to do with math. Which, as always, I don't care about. But when I hand you back your test on Monday, and you have a bad mark, and you do this, because you all do, even when you pretend you don't care about math. If I give you a bad mark, you all go, ugh. And if I give you a good mark, you all go, that is because the good mark, even if you don't care about math, makes you feel good. Why would you not want to feel good? And Riley, I've been picking on you all day because you've been the guy for me. When you got that trinomial right, you went from sitting like you are now with a decent smile on your face to as tall as Jack and at that smile on your face. Why? Because you got it right. One little question. Why wouldn't you want that feeling after 20 questions on a test? You would, so make it happen for yourselves. Go. Yep, do what you need to do.